Richter scale. Talking about an earthquake on the Richter scale. City of Compton, city of Compton, where the girls shake their booty. On the Model D, on the Model D, on the Model D, on the Model D.
What's going on, guys? This is Martin Ross, and before we get into this video, please, if you're watching, hit that subscribe button and hit that alert button so that way you can get the freshest video updates on music in general. So today we're talking about the Talkbox. So what is a Talkbox? A Talkbox is a synthesizer or guitar or any type of input to a speaker that goes through a tube, and that tube sound comes out your mouth and you get a Talkbox sound. Now, what am I doing today? I have a microKORG and a Model D. Why not just use the microKORG? Well, today we're going to be talking about that. Now, I'm using the microKORG specifically for MIDI control commands, but you could use it for a Talkbox, but I feel that having the Model D or the Moog clone is something that is more powerful than any digital synthesizer, in my opinion. Alright, so let's look at the history. So Roger Troutman did use a Moog, such as the Behringer clone Model D, and then from sources that know him, I don't know the family too well, but from sources that did work with him said that they moved to the DX100 because it was easy and portable to move. As you can tell, back then analog synthesizers were heavy and they were bulky, so they were harder to move around, and they got damaged really easy, and they were really expensive. And dealing with analog versus digital. Now, digital, the sound is almost just accurate straight up. But with analog, you have to wait for the components to warm up to be more accurate. And a lot of the times, you're going to have calibration issues, which I had. That does not take away from the power of this Model D. Now, the reason why I want to use a Model D is because, in my opinion, that is Roger Troutman's true sound as a Model D. The DX100 is great. It's a portable thing. He could take it anywhere. But the Model D, Behringer's Model D, is damn near close to the Moog version. Now, why would I use an analog synthesizer when digital's just as close? Well, analog, it comes with a powerful punch of just direct sound. I mean, the sound is so crisp on the Model D, and I just love the fact that I can control my sound with knobs. So what do you need to get started? Well, first you need Model D. You need any MIDI controller. Again, I'm using the microKORG because it's small. And then you also want to have a MIDI in, MIDI out cable, or just a straight up MIDI cable. You could use USB, but I would suggest that if you want to make it more portable and no computer, you're going to go with MIDI cable. So I have my MIDI cable, the out from the controller to the in to the synthesizer, okay? If you take a look in the back here, a 1/4 inch jack going from the output to an input of the Talkbox. Now, a big thing you guys should understand is that keep your Talkbox, just the Talkbox, on a separate power cable, because you will get dirty noises from the synthesizers. Because I have my Korg plugged in and I have my Model D plugged in. Alright, let's take a quick look at my setup. Now, again guys, the microKORG controls nothing but MIDI commands such as the pitch wheel, the modulation, the octaves, and the notes that are being played. So I'm not using any sound outputs from the microKORG. Now let's take a look at the Model D. The Model D, I do have calibration issues with. Again, that does not take away the quality of the Model D. A lot of analog synthesizers, as I've learned, will have issues with the pitch not being so accurate. So if you are a digital guy and you were used to, turning it on, let's go, analog is a little bit different beast, so just understand that. Now, what's cool about the Model D, you obviously have your digital 440 hertz sound. It cannot be changed. It is perfectly set to 440 hertz, and you use that to tune. Obviously, I'm using my one oscillator, and everything else is off. Now, you could use 2 oscillators, but we're just going off with the basic sawtooth patch. Now, as you can tell, I hope you can see it, that I have it set to sawtooth. Now, I will have the patch ready for you guys in the description link, alright? Now I have my tune kind of off, obviously because I need to calibrate it. But I also have my glide. Glide is set to about 4 because I want to give more of a kind of like a humanistic feel. So right there, that's just the sound basically. Now we could play it with some voice here. Alright. Now I do have my modulation wheel. My mix is not completely full because I want to be able to have that crisp sawtooth sound, but I do have it's set to sawtooth modulation. Now you can do pulse modulation. Pulse modulation is kind of like what Teddy Riley uses, which is pretty neat. Love Teddy Riley, by the way. And my mod depth is set to about 2, because the higher it gets, the more wackier it is. So just remember that it sends MIDI commands from 0 to 127, and 127 is the max. It's fully open. So that's why I kind of bring down the modulation down, because sometimes you, like with Roger, he gets a little bit goofy. You want to get a little crazy with that, you know? So again, guys, I have all my voices off except for one. I'm not using any noises. I do have my filter mode set to low, but I'm not using any really cutoffs because the cutoff is set to max. Filter and fastness right there is set to 8, guys. The higher it goes, the lower it goes, you start noticing some pops and clicks. Now, that's not something that I prefer. A lot of people like that when it comes to bass because you want that poppy bass. But for me, we're focusing on vocals, so that's not what we want to do. I have my amount of my contour set to max because I want it fully open. Now, the loudest contour is kind of set to default, except for the sustain is off. So I have max attacks, max decay. Well, I'll say this: quick attack, max decay, and set to sustain to about 0. All right. Obviously, I have my volume control set to max. I use my right now I'm using the Rocktron Banshee. I use my Rocktron Banshee to master it, but again, don't have the volume too up loud because then you start getting what we call like gain noise, and you don't want that. You kind of want it as clear as possible. As far as the settings below here, they're off. I made sure I turned my modulation filter on so that way you can get that Zapp and Rogers type vibrato. A lot of times when you're doing with digital, the vibrato, the frequency is way too high, so it kind of sounds more like a digital effect. The idea is to make your vibrato sound as realistic as possible. Vibrato is another way of saying pitch modulation, and that's what we're doing here. Now, guys, a big thing, and I'll do a video on that, your pitch with the Model D is defaulted to 12, meaning that it'll go whole entire octave. Well, I changed that with their software, and I'll show you how to do that in a later video, to make it bend to 2. So a lot of you guys watching the videos, you're hearing that, and you're like, why is my pitch bend being changed? It's defaulted within the System X commands. You have to use software to change that from 12 to 2. Alright, so that is the basic setup that I have here. I will be posting a picture or a setting for you guys to take a look at of how to set up your Model D for Talkboxes. So there we have it. Alright guys, there you have it. That is my Model D setup for Talkbox. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please, if you got to this point, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that alert button so you can get more updates on music needs, music tutorials, and even original material. Also, very important, please check out my sound library Zource. It's available for Reason, Contact, and Machine. If you buy the main pack, you get all expansions half off. Also, please check out Dilio T2K's Massive library. It's for Massive by Native Instruments. It's a synth library. It's a great sound for today's style music. If you like his beat remakes, then Massive is for you. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Martin Ross. Please comment, subscribe, like, most important, share. Thank you guys so much. Take care.